Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this weekend's story time. Today's story time is a continuation of my Working at a Gentleman's Club series. And we're gonna go into the rest of the story and kind of what happened next, because I know that you guys are dying to know. For those of you guys asking about the Host Stepsister series, I'm still on the fence about that, still thinking about it, because I don't know if y'all know how to act. Until I make my decision with that, I will be working on my Pretty Petty series as well as this series and of course my Ask Nikki's and other things like that. Don't worry, it's still gonna be fun as hell up in here, okay? Before we get into today's story time, of course we're gonna be going over our glamour shot of the day. These are my girls, my ride or dies, my do anything for me, my support me no matter what type of girls, and they use their hashtag #GlamazonShot on either Twitter or Instagram because I toggle between the two. This is my girl, Dominique, and I found her beautiful Glamazon shot on Instagram, and this is what she had to say. I'm glad that Ashley got fired. She really deserved it. Can't wait for the next video. I'm so glad that I found your channel 2 years ago. You have really been around for a really long time, Dominique. Thank you so much. And girl, me too. I'm glad she got fired too, because like I didn't feel like putting up with her. Thank you guys so much for always loving me and supporting me the way that you do, and just like watching my crazy ass and coming here and spending your weekends with me. I really appreciate it. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into the story time, girl. By the way, before we get into the story time, I just want to have a little talkaroo with y'all, okay? Tell me why? Tell me why ain't nothing but a ball. I checked my analytics the other day. It showed me that 25% of y'all that keep coming back here aren't subscribed. But why? You're coming back here for a reason, because you know that you like to turn up on your weekend. So I don't understand. Do yourself a favor, girl. You want to be a part of the Glamazon family. What you mean? Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you are always here. So you can be a part of my beloved Glamazons. Okay, so jumping right into this story, there really isn't like a begin part that I'm going to go into. It's really just going to be taken off from where we left off. So, as most of y'all know, Ashley's little funky ass just got fired, okay? Like, the best thing ever. I was just so happy because I didn't have to deal with her ass no more, because I was like, seriously, in my mind, I was like, she's gonna be a problem. So this worked out in my benefit. Thank God, okay? Because I really thought I was gonna lose my mind. So she gets fired. At this time, I'm still working at my beer tub, and y'all, I start making some really good tips, okay? Like, I was actually begging my manager to put me on the schedule more often. Like, during the week, it didn't matter, y'all. I don't know what it was, but your girl was making good money. Like, every night, I at least I was clearing 150 bucks in tips, at least. So my boss ended up giving me 1 or 2 more week shifts, and so I was working like 4 or 5 days out of the week at the club, all right, because I was like getting addicted to that money. A few weeks passed since Ashley's little funky ass got fired, and I was making good money. I literally forgot all about her, and then ta-da! All of a sudden, the other cocktail waitresses start being really cool with me. I'm talking about stopping at my beer tub, you know, complimenting my outfits, being friendly with me, and just being like, hey girl, how you doing, how's your night? And like, all of a sudden I felt like I belonged, and I felt like they were legit my friends. I started getting to know them by name, and I started talking to them every night. It was like a light switch. It was like day and night. You could tell that they finally accepted me as part of the Diamond team. Up until this point, y'all, I was just like on my own, doing my own thing, right? Now, by no means were we like best friends, but we were all really cool with each other, you know, because I couldn't get that close to them because I was at my own station all night, obviously. Besides like the beginning and the very end of the night when we were cleaning up the club, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to talk, but you know, I became cool with them. Y'all understand. Okay, one night came around, I was balancing out with my manager. He was counting my tips, and he just kept like smirking and smiling, like shaking his head like, okay, you got something to say? What is so funny? What? He's like, you're really good at this. Like, you really brought that beer tub back to life, because I didn't know if I was gonna have to like scrap that entire idea. And I was like, you better not. Like, that is my bread and butter, boy. Like, don't play with me. Then all of a sudden, y'all, his face got real serious, and he like looked at me straight face, and he was like, actually, I need to talk to you about something, you know, in regards to the beer tub. My heart literally skipped a beat. I was like, wait, what? Just the way he said it, y'all, it just made me nervous. So I was like, okay, what? Now there were like 2 other girls that were finishing balancing out while we were having this conversation, right? But they still were in the room. Anyways, we go over to his little corner where his desk is, and I sit in the bad kid chair. I know that you're doing really, really well at beer tub. He was like, and I'm very impressed with the work that you've done, but I just can't help but feel like the best decision right now would be to shut the beer tub down completely, because it just seems kind of out of the way. It just seems like, you know, maybe we are taking some extra sales away from the girls. So I'm thinking that this may be like the last weekend that the beer tub will be open. What you talking about, Willis? I know that you are not sitting your tall, lanky ass across this desk from me telling me that you're shutting my beer tub down. I was like, why? What? Have you seen my sales? Do you want to see my balance sheet again? Hold on, there's nothing wrong with the beer tub. What you mean, Anthony? This entire time that he was talking to me about this, up until this point, he had been like stone-faced. He finally broke, and like he started smiling and laughing. He was like, because he was like, don't get too crazy, okay? Don't lose your shit. Because I was wondering if you would like to officially start training as a cocktail waitress starting next week. Yes, y'all know I had a goal here the entire time to be a cocktail waitress. Absolutely, I'm ready. I am so ready for this training. I'm so ready to just like get out on the floor and like do VIP and like, you know, really make that good money. You know, I kind of forgot that I was like doing well at the beer tub to be a cocktail waitress. Like that's how much I was like enjoying being at the beer tub. So it was almost like really bittersweet. It was so weird because when I first took that position at the beer tub, I was like, I know y'all are not putting me at this weird ass station next to the cigars, and I gotta sell overpriced beer to guys that are coming into the strip club. Like I've never seen, have you guys ever seen a beer tub girl like at the front of a strip club? No? Okay, because I felt really stupid about it at first. And then all of a sudden it became my jam. It was such a weird feeling. I was like, yes, I'm so happy and I'm so ready. But then again, like I just kind of want to be left alone. But you know, of course I'm not going to tell him that. He had the spiel with me and he was like, I just want to remind you, important that we have fast service, that we have good customer service, have to have a good memory. We do not use pads here, like writing pads. He was like, whatever it is that they tell you, however big that the party is, you got to remember that and make sure you put the order in right. He was like, now the training is only throughout the week, okay? So you're not going to be working your weekend shifts right now because you're not ready. I mean, it will be like 2 or 3 weekends that you're going to miss because you need to be trained. I don't need to be off the floor, or like I don't need to be off of weekends for 3 weekends. Like y'all, that was a lot of money. If you think about it, if you just think about it, if cocktail waitresses do essentially make more money than a beer tub girl would, I would imagine, okay? And I thought this because they get a big portion of VIP parties especially. And then when you have like bachelor parties, bachelorette parties come in, they get huge tips. So I really had to think about what I was gaining rather than what I was losing, because I was like, I am gonna gain this experience. You know, this is something that girls work really hard for, and these girls have been doing this for years and years, and I have to keep up. So of course, you know, I tell Anthony, all right, you know, that's cool. I completely understand. You know, I'm ready for training. So he was like, all right, cool. We're going to be having a staff meeting. Everybody's going to be here next week. And he gave me the date and time. So I go to this meeting and I'm actually pretty nervous. And Anthony had told me that there were like sections, like everyone sat in their own section and like with their own peeps. So like all the waitresses sat together and all the bartenders and everything, because Anthony would give them certain like goals per group. Does that make sense? He was like, so when you get to the meeting this week, I'm gonna need you to find the waitresses and go sit with them. So you had to like go to the side door, and it looks real sketch. So I'm like going to the side door, and finally one of the security guards opens the door. Y'all, this was the first time since I had been working here that somebody opened that door that I didn't know. And I was like, hi. And he was like, oh, hey. And he was like, you know, meeting is in there. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was just like really weird. I was like, I don't know you. Like, this is so weird. So I go into the main area, you know, and sure enough, like it just, obviously it just looks like a whole different place. Like all the lights are on, you know, it's just like really weird. And there was just like, you know, bar chairs all in the middle of the room. I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, which ones are the waitresses? So I'm trying to see if I recognize anyone. And finally I recognize one of the girls that I know is a waitress. So I'm like, okay, it's over there. Now the waitresses were sitting on like some lounge couches and a few of the chairs. And so all of the chairs were taken up, but there was one spot on the couch that was available. And you know, when you sit on a couch, especially if it's a lot of y'all are like, you know, like shoulder to shoulder. And I didn't know any of them like that. That was the only seat left. Girls that did know me, one of them, she was like, hey Nikki, hey, what's up? Hey, and I'm just gonna grab that seat right there. And I was like, you know, heading towards the couch, and that girl that knew me, she was like, well, she was like, we're all supposed to be sitting with like other waitresses. She was like, I don't know if like they're gonna want you to sit here or if like there's another, like she wasn't being bitchy about it. She was like genuinely concerned, like, hey, this is how we do it. So I don't know if you'd be sitting here or wherever, like you might want to ask Anthony. It's like, oh no, I was like, he's already talked to me. I'm actually going to be training, you know, to be a waitress here in the next week. I was like, so he told me to go ahead and sit with you guys. They all just stared at me and they were like, I'm gonna go sit over here. And I'm like, y'all, they were all staring at me. And the girl that like knew me, she was like, you're gonna be a waitress? Yeah, Anthony just told me. And she was like, well, congrats, girl. She was like, we had no idea. And like all the girls were like, no, we had no idea. Like, y'all, it was so awkward and so tense. And like so many of them were like, I guess they were like so close knit. And like none of them knew that I was gonna be joining the team. So like all of them were just now finding out. So like they all have their little stank faces on, and my friend is confused and they're like, oh, okay, well, we had no idea. So I'm sitting there super awkward, super tense. And might I add, nobody else in the room was talking. So everybody else, all the bartenders, barbacks, security guards, they all heard this go down. They all heard the confusion. They all heard the confundleness, okay? I was embarrassed. Finally, Anthony walks in. This gray-haired guy I've never met walks in, and like, you know, some other guys in suits. Like it was probably like 4 or 5 of them total. So they all walk in, they take a seat in the front of all of us on some bar stools, and the gray-haired guy starts speaking. Now I later come to find out that he's the actual owner of the club. He was like an older guy, it makes sense. So he was basically giving them like a good job type of speech. Then Anthony starts talking, and he starts talking about like the numbers pretty much, like this is what we're going to be having sales on for this amount of time because we need to get rid of it. It's not selling enough. And he was like talking about liquor. Well, of course, at this time, I didn't know that they did all this. So basically, Anthony was speaking Chinese to me. He was like, yeah, we're going to have the specialist come in later on this week. Girls, guys are going to meet with them, stay in VIP. And so you guys make sure that you're there for that training. And I'm like, wait, like, hold time out, what do you mean? It was basically like a really big like update meeting for everybody to know where the club stood, what plans we had in place, big events that we were going to be having. The meeting goes on for about an hour. It's actually really informative, but there were so many things that I had questions about, and I was like, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. All you can do in that situation is just pretend like you know what he's talking about. So like, you know, he's looking at all of us and I'm like, yeah, girl, we need to work on that. That was it. Like only the people that were going to be working there that night were gonna stay. So I wasn't working that night, so I got to peace out. But before I did, the waitress that knew me, she actually kind of pulled me aside and she was like, hey, so are you like excited to start training? And I was like, yeah, but I'm just wondering, when did he say that your training was gonna start? Let's just say like Wednesday or Thursday. I was like, oh, it's gonna be this day. She legitimately was annoyed by this point. Like there was no question about it. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be training like that day during the day. And she was like, that's my shift. And she goes, hold on. Okay, like I don't know what that means. I don't know why you're so pissed. So okay. Right near where we were standing was the bar. So she takes a few steps and Anthony just so happens to be doing something over at the bar. And she stands in front of him and she was like, Anthony, we need to talk real fast. And he was like, okay. And he doesn't stop what he was doing. Anthony was one of those people that just like multitask with literally everything. It was very hard for that boy to just like look at you, okay? Like he was always doing something else. And she was like, Anthony, no, I need you to like pay attention. And he was like, I am. He was like, what can I do for you? And she was like, I'm not trying to bother you. I was just wondering how Nikki is going to be trained to be a waitress on my day. And nobody has talked to me about it. So I was wondering if you knew. Like, so much sass. I was like, oh, she big mad. Okay. I felt like I was such an annoyance and everything in me was like, bitch, I didn't have to be here. Okay. I was doing just fine at my beer tub. Like, I don't know why y'all are all acting like this is such a problem. Like, if y'all have an issue, yes, go talk to Anthony. But I'm tired of feeling this way. I was going to discuss that with you this evening after your shift, since you work tonight, when you were balancing out. He was like, but since you have a question, we have decided to put Nikki on the schedule on that day because you seem to be needing help out on the floor, as I've noticed by your sales. So I am going to need you to train Nikki for the first half of your shift, and then I'll have so-and-so take over after that for the rest of the night. It's clear to me that you need extra hands, so I don't see what the problem is. Should I stay? Should I go? Like, they're not talking to me, but she did tell me to hold on. So I don't know, like, if we're done with our combo, I have no idea. Like, I think I should go. So I like pick up my purse and Anthony looks over and he was like, Nikki, come over here. And I was like, oh my God. But at this point, she has not said anything to him. Like, she hasn't responded, but she's just sitting there looking at him and she's like, I was looking at Anthony all upside his head like, can you, if she doesn't want to train me, do not force these girls to train me. Find somebody that don't have a problem with it. But like, why are you like forcing her? She's gonna take it out on me. Like, she's gonna be annoyed with me. He's just looking at her like, can I help you with anything else? Like, I said what I had to say. Okay. She did not look at me. She did not say nothing to me. And she went across the room. She picked up her purse. She went into the back because like she was about to start her shift. So there I am standing with Anthony and I'm just looking at him like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you like making it almost impossible for me to be friends with these girls? Because he was like basically using me to say, this is a shortcoming that you have. And this is where Nikki is going to step in because you can't handle it. Like, that's how it came across. And I felt like he just put me in a really weird position with her. He keeps doing whatever he's doing at the bar and he was like, don't worry about her. They always take a minute to warm up to anybody new, so it's not just you. Yeah, but I was like, Anthony, why does it have to be her though? Like, it's clear that she doesn't want to train me. He was like, I don't care if she wants to do it or not. She has to. Like, she's the best at it. She's been doing this the longest. I want her to be the one to train you. I feel like it'll be the most beneficial. He was like, I'm getting you trained by the best that we have. So I really argue with that. Like, that's actually really smart. He's taking the girl on his staff that has the most experience and putting her with me, and he's not budging because he wants me, basically he wanted me like on a fast track to like hurry up and be, you know, semi-experienced so that I could keep up with all of them. And the best way to do that is by getting me with the most experienced girl on the waitress staff. So shortly thereafter, I grab my stuff, I leave, and I go home. I talk to David. I'm like, you know, these girls are gonna freaking hate me. Like, I should just go back to work and tell Anthony that I don't want to do this. Like, just keep me at the beer tub. I got really comfortable in the fact that when I worked at the beer tub, I wasn't bothered by anybody. I didn't have to put up with nobody else's attitude. I didn't have to like work with anybody. I just had my beer tub and I looked all cute and I made my money and I left. Like, nobody was bothered by me. I was not bothered by them. And like, you know, everything was all cool. It's just really weird how things turned out because I walked into there for the first time, like, begging to be a waitress. But now that it was actually happening, like, because of the circumstances, I was like, no, I don't want to. Like, I just, let me stay at my beer tub. I don't want to have to deal with these bitches. Like, I don't want to have to deal with things that I didn't create. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to be made to feel like I'm a problem. Like, who wants that? Fast forward and the day of my training comes around. So I go into work and it was actually really early. It was during the week sometime. And of course, you know, I walk in and I don't know what to do. I don't know where where to go. This is very different. My beer tub is literally under the same damn, like, it was like a piece of fabric. So it could like blend in with the wall. That's what they would do with it when I wasn't working. So there it is, just in the corner looking all sad. The whole club wasn't open yet, but like we were about to open in like an hour. So people were putting out candles and stuff like that. I don't know who to ask because up until this point, everybody's been bothered by me. So they have 2 bars inside Diamond, and one of them is like right around the corner. It's like very weird how it's set up, but they're like directly across the room from each other, right? And one of them is smaller and then one of them is bigger. So I was at the small one. He was like, yeah, you know, you might want to go over there. That's the main bar. He was like, that's usually where I see all the waitresses go at the beginning of the night. And I was like, okay, cool. There was a little area that had like, you know, a computer over there. Obvious that that's where the waitresses would go. It was like their little pit pretty much. And that's where they had like their trays and their aprons and all of that, right? We're like zipping in and out of there, and it was like down a few steps into like this little area. By the way, this is the first day that I was dressed in my uniform, and I had to go, y'all, I had to go to a sex shop because like it was just like last minute and I couldn't order anything online. So I had to go to a sex shop and get me a black corset, of course my fishnet stockings, my little booty shorts, and then I had to get these all black like enclosed tie-up wedged heels. So they're like kind of looking at me confused, like, you know, you're dressed like us but we don't know you. So they just keep walking past. I think some of them knew about me because it just seemed like, oh, like that's who she was talking about. And finally, the waitress that I knew that, you know, got pissy about having to train me, she walks over, and we're gonna name her, let's name her, we're gonna name her Selena. So Selena walks over and she's like, she definitely seems like she's in a better mood. And she was like, hey girl, she was like, are you ready to get started? I was like, yeah. And so, you know, I start feeling better and I'm like, oh my God, thank God, like she's not being a bitch to me. Got me like this card that I can, you know, scan into the computer so that it'll let me in. She started teaching me the programming and kind of the basics of how to put in drink orders. So she's like kind of going through it, and I'm not gonna lie, she was like flying through it. She was like, this is how you do this, and like this is how you sign in, and like this is like where the aprons are, here, put that around your waist, and blah blah blah. It did seem like it was going by really fast, but I was not about to ask her to repeat anything. I was not about to be like, hey, I don't get that, because I did not want to basically confirm that I was going to be an issue for her. I am under pressure. I feel like that's when I work the best. I don't know about y'all. I do my best work under pressure. I know that she probably thought that she was, you know, throwing me for a loop, but I got it. Your girl got it. I'm shadowing her. She's talking to this guy. Of course, the guy keeps looking at me like, what the hell do I need 2 of you for? Oh my God, you know, this is Nikki. She's new. She's going to be helping me out tonight, blah, blah, blah. She takes his order, and again, like they don't write things down. At least they didn't when I was working there. And then we head back over to that little pit to put in the order, and she was like, okay, what did he order? And I was like, you know, he ordered this. So she had me get on the computer myself and like put in the order so that the bartenders knew to make it. And, you know, I got it right away. I was like, yes, girl, I got this. Let's fast forward. The night goes on. I started taking over pretty fast because she was not babying me at all. She was not like, hey, I'm going to do a few and like you do a few. No, it was like, I showed you one to do it. Serving these drinks, getting the orders, putting the orders in, cleaning up after the customers left, like that was all me. And by the end of the night, she was shadowing me, okay? I would say 3 or 4 days into training, I was getting the hang of it pretty well. And, you know, I could remember orders really well, and I was remembering like the processes and procedures, and like I would make little mistakes here and there, but I mean, nothing too big. For the most part, I was flying solo. So of course, Anthony was asking Selena every single night at the end of the night, like, how did she do? Basically like a report on me. I was telling him the truth. She was like, hey, you know, she's been fast. Like she doesn't, you know, she's been doing really well on her own. She only asks questions when she really needs it. Y'all remember what Anthony said? He said that I was going to be training for like 3 weeks before getting my weekends, all right? But somehow, because I was doing really well with Selena, he let me work that weekend, y'all, as a cocktail waitress. Like, I'm on Saturday night. I'm really excited. I go home. I tell David. David was like, oh shit, babe. Like, you about to be a cocktail waitress. Like, for real, for real. Anyway, Saturday rolls around. I'm like all hype. I show up there at the club at like 6 o'clock, and we start setting up for the night crew. I go in. I meet up with Selena. At this point, she and I were like pretty much getting along. Like, it wasn't so tense and awkward. And she was like, hey girl, on my stuff, and we're signing in, we're clocking in or whatever. And we're just like talking, and she's telling me about her mans. Like, we were were getting to that point where we were like becoming friends. Now we're gonna fast forward, okay? So like, you know, customers start coming in and I take a few, she takes a few, and we're basically working separate but in the same section, you know? So I was like still flying solo, and I was so proud of myself, and I really started feeling like I was a part of the team, and like I was just like a cocktail waitress, and I was like, you know, just experienced. And the night goes on, right? And this guy comes in and he starts talking to Selena, and he was like standing up and talking to her, and it looked like he was like negotiating or something. And I was like, well, what is he doing? I needed to know where he was going to sit, because that was going to tell me whether or not I was going to be serving him or if she was. But he was just like standing there and he was talking to her. Finally, she comes over to the pit. So we have a big party and we're being assigned to VIP. What? And she was like, yeah, there's a bachelor party coming in. She was like, you're gonna learn how to do VIP tonight. Are you ready, bitch? And I was like, yes, I am so ready. Like, everybody knows this is where you make the most money. People always be dropping money in VIP. If they're going to a strip club, they get VIP. It's usually for a reason, and they be like, you know, like this. There's like these little roped off sections in Diamond, and they are the VIP. They're like in the corner, but they have like their own little tables that the dancers can dance on. They can invite different dancers. They can invite anybody into the VIP section. Of course, they get bottle service. So Selena takes me over there and teaches me how to like set up real fast for this party that's coming in. And the guy that had been talking to her, he comes in and he sits down and he's like, yeah, you know, the rest of the party is going to be here in legit 5 minutes. So we start, you know, setting up or whatever. So we leave and she starts teaching me about the champagne. Y'all, can I just say, I hate opening champagne. Nothing gives me more anxiety than opening champagne. Like that pop, oh my God, like I can't. So she was trying to show me how to open up this bottle of champagne, and it wasn't that I didn't know how to do it. Bitch, I'm scared. That is one thing that you will not catch me doing. I don't like even being around anybody that's opening champagne. Top is gonna pop off and take out somebody's eye. Like, it just really just gives me so much anxiety. Okay, it's a part of VIP. You need to make your money. Like, bitch, stop being scared. And I was like, no. You do it. Like, I'll do it next time you do it. So she was making fun of me and we were in there laughing, and so she finally pops it and I was like, ah! We get like the whole tray of like champagne and glasses and stuff, and we're taking it over there, and you have to be like real hype and real peppy and like, hey guys, like, hey, y'all ready to party? And so like we're, you know, going in there with our trays, we set down all the drinks and we start taking like their individual drink orders. Now this is where for the first time I was seeing like the real behind the scenes of like the VIP section and like what be happening, you know? I was like, you know, taking orders, and the whole time, you know, the guys are sitting on like these booths, and you know, you're standing up, so you're going like this and you're like, hey, you know, what can I get you? And you're like leaning down so that they can tell you. I'm taking some of their orders, and like Selena and I had gone like this, like we went separate, and it was like a whole booth of guys. So I'm leaning over and I'm talking to this one guy, and I'm like 3 guys down already, and you know, I'm like, hey, you know, what can I get you? And he was like, what? And I was like, what can I get you? He was like, wait, I can't hear you. And like the music was loud, and I was like, oh, these other dudes could hear me. How come you can't hear me? I was like, hi, I'm Nikki. What can I get you? And like, I'm like leaning down towards him. He grabs me like literally under here, like right here. And he grabs me and he goes, boop. He sits me on his lap. All right. Like just that fast, just one fell swoop, bam, on his lap. And I was like, hold up. I jumped up like you threw me into a lake of fire, homie. Like I jumped up so fast. I was like, excuse me, sir, what you mean? Why is that? What you mean? Sir, I do not want to sit on your lap, sir. I'm just trying to get your order, sir. Y'all, I was flipping my shit. I was like, what you mean? I'm not trying to sit on your lap. He seemed so confused. He was like, my bad. Like, I didn't know that it was a problem. He was like, because she's doing it. And I was like, what? And I looked over. Sure enough, y'all, there's Selena, and she's sitting on this guy's lap, and she has her legs out across 2 other guys talking to them. And I guess that is how she was getting their drink orders. Okay, she was like sitting all across them, and like I'm just trying to make sure that the bar doesn't get too backed up, so I just wanted to hurry up and get y'all's order. Just tell me the order. The guys kind of get all awkward, in my area because they're like, why are you tripping? Like, she's doing it. And I'm like, I'm not her, okay? Like, I'm not her. Give me your drink order. Just give it to me. So they give me their drink order and I leave. I just leave the section and I go to the bar because I just have to think. I put in the drink order, and while I'm doing that, Selena walks up and she's like, hey girl, you okay? I was like, what was that about? And so she, you know, she and I switch places, and then she gets to the computer and she's putting stuff in. She was like, why were you freaking out on that guy? I was like, because he was trying to get me to sit on his lap. And she was like, okay. And I was like, no. I was like, I know, I saw you doing that. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't know that, like, that was like, that's what, like, we could do. Like, I didn't know that they could touch us like that. And she was like, well, no, they're not supposed to touch us, but if we choose to sit on or near them, like, that's completely our prerogative, but they can't be like touching on your boobs or anything like that. But you know, you can be friendly with them and flirt. And I was like, she was like, girl, you ain't never sat on anybody's lap? And I was like, no, I have not. Like, honestly, I've not. All this time that I've been like taking care of my own sections, no, I do not sit on anybody's lap. She was like, I don't know, it just makes it like more laid back and, you know, more fun. And I totally got it. Like, I get why, you know, girls do that, and I totally get like the appeal of it, and, you know, just chilling, and you're sitting there and you're sitting on him or whatever. But like, y'all, I've always been real weird about stuff like that. Like, we end up getting the drinks and taking it over to VIP, and I have to put the show right back on. So, you know, I made it as not awkward as I possibly could, and I was like, hey, you know, passing around drinks. Everything went really well. Everything went back to normal. Nobody was like awkward or anything. I knew that I still needed to make them comfortable. Like, when you have VIP, that is your number one priority, is the VIP, right? So we would stay in there for quite a while because we always wanted to make sure that they felt like they had our undivided attention. That's how you make the most money. That's how you get your tips. VIP takes precedence. You know, we were allowed to just chill in there sometimes. Of course, you know, Selena would chill in between the guys, you know, sitting on top of the guys and, you know, just talking to them or whatever. And like I said, there were like these big tables that were in there, and they kind of doubled as stages, you know, for some of the dancers that would come into VIP. Like, sometimes they would get onto those smaller tables. There was like this little area that was free, and it was literally right in front of like the sofa where the guys were, right? So instead of sitting on them or like next to them, I was sitting on the like little table and I was facing them, and I was like, oh hey, like whatever. And like, I had my tray and I'm just like leaning toward them and just talking to them, and like, oh, who's getting married? And you know, they were telling me, and they're all drunk, and you know, drunk guys, okay, they just talk about nothing. So the night goes on, and like, fast forward a few hours, and we're still, you know, catering to this VIP section, and I go back to the pit and we're going to get more drinks. Selena walks up, and like right in between her boobs, y'all, is like full of, there's like $300 bills in her cleavage, just right there. Now, Selena was very well endowed, okay? Like, literally damn near every girl, I'm not kidding when I tell y'all this, every girl besides me and like maybe 2 other girls had fake boobs. So like, their boobs are huge. So Selena had huge boobs. I would say, if I had to guess, I would say she was like a double D, like, not even kidding. So she had these huge boobs, and like, I could see the money just sticking out, and I was like, dang girl, I was like, who gave you that? And she was like, the dad. And I guess there was like, the bachelor's dad was there, and he was like a part of her small section, and she was like, every time I lean over and I kind of shake him a little bit, he puts a $100 bill in there, like every time. Not flying. She was like, girl, I swear to you, she was like, he has a lot of money. She was like, you know what, tell you what, she's like, go over there and like talk to him and just like put your boobs in his face, and he'll put a $100 bill in there. And I was like, and I like, legit, y'all, I looked down and I was like, okay, he's doing that for you because you're very well endowed, okay? But my little tetitas are not gonna make him give up some hundreds. Like, it ain't gonna happen, I'm telling you right now. And she was like, no, just go try it. Y'all, I go over there and I just feel real awkward, but like, I just kind of like leaned over and I was like, hey, you know, do you need anything? This man looks like at my boobs, and he's like looking, he's looking, and he goes, no, I don't need anything, thanks though. And I was like, Okay, bye. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, these boobies ain't $100 worthy. Like these, he's running like big old bazongas. Like I don't have that. And sure enough, y'all, I didn't get the $100 bill. Why? Because I didn't have no tetas. That's why. I have boobs, okay? Like I have a little something, something going on, but I definitely, like in comparison, not at all. Not at all, okay? I got more compliments on my booty than I did on my boobs. This is just real, y'all. I'm giving y'all the real, okay? For those of you guys wondering, I don't know if y'all are wondering, but if y'all are wondering, if cocktail waitresses can drink. Now here at Diamond, yes, you can drink with the customers, because a lot of times guys will be like, hey, take a shot with us, like this shot's for you, and like they'll pour you a shot out of their bottle from bottle service. Our bosses liked it when we said yes, but we had like a 2-shot maximum. Like they didn't want us taking more than 2 shots. So when that would happen and they would offer us shots, we would have the bartenders make them, because we already knew that we were going to be invited to take shots. So we would tell the bartenders, hey, make like 4 of these, you know, just water shots, and they would. Managers kept that completely up to us. Like there was no way for them to like manage how many shots you were taking. So some of my girls were taking like 3-4 shots. If they can hang, as long as you can do your job and you're not slurring and stuttering and like fucking up, you can drink as much as you want. It's up to you, but you better be able to do your job, count your money, and like, you know, do well. I kept getting invited to take shots with these guys, and I did. I took like 2 shots, and back then like my tolerance was a lot higher, so it really didn't hit me like too bad. It would make me feel like, hey, what's up? They were running low on champagne, so Selena and I decided to leave again. So we leave, we go get another bottle of champagne, or should I say I was getting another bottle of champagne, because on the way back to like the area where the champagne bottles are, all of a sudden, y'all, I was like walking and I'm like talking to Selena, and she was behind me, and I was like, yeah girl, you know, like they were telling me this or this and blah blah blah, and I was talking about something, and legit I got over to where the champagne bottles were at, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? And I looked over and it was like something out of a movie. She had fallen, y'all. When I tell you fell, like ugly fell, like when I turned around she was like in the middle, she was like mid fall, like her ankles wiggled. It was just like one of them ugly falls. And so she falls, and like when she falls, she like hits one of the chairs and it makes a noise, and people start looking over, and I immediately like go down and I pick her up, and I'm like, girl, oh my god, are you okay? She's like a baby deer. So I'm like grabbing her up, and we're right by the bar, so like I get her to like lean on the bar, and I'm like, hey, are you okay? And one of the bartenders came over. He was like, what's going on? And I was like, I need water right now. And he was like, all right. Out. Ow! Slurring, just like, Nikki, I'm fine. Oh, it's a minute. Oh my god, you look so cute. Girl, look at you. Where'd you get those earrings? One of them. And then the bartender comes up to give her water, and she's like, oh my god, I just love you so much. Thank you. I'm like, oh my god, like y'all, she was 2 sheets to the wind, and I had no idea. Turns out this girl had been taking shot after shot after shot after shot with her group in the VIP, and the bartender was like, she took too many shots, like she was partying too hard. He was like, you gotta go tell Anthony now, like I'm calling him right now. He was calling him on the walkie-talkie, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, I didn't want her to get in trouble, and I was like, oh my god, because like they're really big on that. They tell you over and over and over again, like before the shift starts, like don't get messed up, do not get messed up, we don't like that. So bartender calls Anthony, and I'm like, girl, like try to sober up, like I don't want you to get in trouble. And I was like, how many shots did you take? And she was like, she's like, I didn't take that many. And I was like, how many shots did you take, Selena? And she was like, I don't know. She was like, well, we took a shot for him getting married. We took a shot for his birthday last month. And then we took a shot for his dad's birthday. And then we took a shot because like he was man enough to like propose, because he didn't know if he was going to. And then we took a shot for his mom because she passed away. And then we took, and like y'all, she kept like naming things. I shit you not. This girl had taken 7 shots. 7, where it had been like maybe 20 minutes. So she was like taking shots back to back like that. Y'all, 7 shots. Girl, y'all, she was gone. Here comes Anthony, and he walks up and he looks pissed. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, hey, what's up? And he looks over at me, he goes, hi Nikki, how's everything going? I was like, it's going well. I was like, how are you? He was like, good. He was like, are you drunk? And I was like, no, not at all. And he was like, good. He was like, go ahead and tend to VIP. Like, I kept like looking over at Selena, and he was like, she's fine, I got her. And I was like, okay. And I was like, bye girl, like get better. And she was like, bye guy, you better make your money, bitch. She was like being all loud, and Anthony was like, shh, shh. Like when I was like walking away, he was like shushing her, right? I go back to VIP, and all of a sudden we just hear like a scream. You just see Anthony walking through the main area, and like he has Selena over his shoulder, and she's like screaming bloody murder. He don't want me to have a good time. He's trying to stop me from partying. Anthony, put me down. Y'all, she caused a scene. Like literally even the dancers like had to stop for a second, and everybody was just watching her getting carried across the room. And I was like, and like his whole body is like moving because she is just fighting so hard. He finally makes it across the room, and you just see him like struggling to get her into the back door, and she's like trying to hold on to the frame. Y'all, I'm not even kidding. She's like trying to hold on to the door frame, and she was like, no, I'm not done. They wanted to party with me. Security guard like runs up and has to like pry her fingers off of the door frame, and they finally get her into the back room. And I was like, oh my God. Like, so the rest of the night goes on. The guys that were in VIP thought it was hilarious that she got so messed up, and they were like, oh, she kept saying that she could hang. She kept saying that, you know, she could outdrink us or whatever. So according to them, Selena had been like talking shit, and she was like, whatever, like I could outdrink y'all any day. And like she was challenging them, I guess. And so they kept taking shots. And they were like basically laughing because they were like, oh, she couldn't hang. Like she said she couldn't. So the night goes on. Everything goes really well. We get some pretty good tips from VIP. Go into the back, into the office to balance out. Finally, I'm done. And Anthony comes across and, you know, slide over that sheet, and I, you know, let him have the money so he can count it. And like all this time, I haven't looked up at him. I'm just like looking down at the table. And so I, you know, I slide everything over to him, and I look up. This boy had a huge ass cut. Like it went from one lip to the other, okay, like on the side of his lip, and like all of this on his face was like red, and it was just like his lip right here was like starting to swell really bad. Y'all, he looked fucked up. It looked like someone spin kicked his ass right in the mouth. Like it just was so deep, and you could tell like it was still bleeding, y'all. Like there was still blood like just coming off of his lips, and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Well, Selena decided to lose her mind and kick me in the face after I put her down in the office. And I was like, he could barely like talk because all this right here was just like getting so swollen, and it was all bloody. And I was like, Anthony, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. While he was talking, his lips were bleeding even more. And I was like, Anthony, like stop it. Like you need to ice that. Like stop talking. It's just like, it was like literally gashes. She had, because we usually wore heels and wedges, like she had kicked him square off in the face, and it literally like split both of his lips open like this. Like he like had such a huge ugly like scab there for weeks, okay? Like it didn't go away for a long time. And that was the story about my first time being a cocktail waitress, my training, how that went, how I was brought on board, and all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did and would like to see more like this one, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up, and make sure you're not a part of that 25%, okay? Make sure you subscribe and you're a part of my Glamazon family. Thank you guys so much for all of your continuous love and support for me and all of these series that I have going on. Again, don't forget to head over to our Glamour family channel and subscribe over there as well if you guys would like to keep up with this pregnancy and the boys, all the new stuff that we're going to be doing here really soon. You don't want to miss out. Thank you guys so much for coming to join me for story time this weekend. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Peace out.